Hi everyone, welcome to the Perspective. Today I have a very important report to share with all of you. This has nothing to do with targeting any specific people, religion, or organization. I'm just going to give you scientific data and you will be the judge. I'm going to give you this based on what's happening in the Middle East. Some people blame it on political, military occupations, civil wars, and so on. But I'm just going to give you some data, scientific data. You will be the judge and you will decide if that's the reason of the chaos in the Middle East, whether political, military, occupation, civil wars, whatever, or there is an issue with Islam and some Arabic countries. I'm just going to give you scientific data and you will be the judge. I'm going to tell you all of the countries that have brought benefits to the world and the countries that have brought chaos and destruction to the world. So let me begin with the largest companies in the world. So the largest companies, the 40 largest companies in the world, they are most of them based on United States, Europe, Japan, some of them in China. There is not a single Muslim company. There is only the Saudi Arabian oil company, but they are not bringing any good to the world. It's just oil that they found underground. That's it. Now let us go to the largest car manufacturing companies in the world. They are all of them. There's not a single Muslim or Arabic company. They are all based in the United States, Japan, and Europe. You never hear that Saudi Arabia is ditching the Mercedes-Benz for their monarchy and now they are driving cars made in Morocco or cars made in Afghanistan or cars made in Algeria or Tunisia. They don't have zero. Now let's go to the cell phone manufacturers in the world. The largest are based in America, Korea, China, Japan, and Europe. You never see that in Dubai. They are ditching iPhones and they are buying new phones made in Iraq or Yemen or Turkmenistan or Afghanistan. You never hear any of that. Now let's go to the high-tech companies. The largest high-tech companies in the world, they are again based in United States, Europe, China, and Japan. There is not a single Arabic or Muslim company listed here. Now let's go to the airplane companies. Again, the largest are based in America and Europe. You never see the Saudi royalty flying in planes manufactured in Morocco or Afghanistan or Yemen or Turkmenistan or Azerbaijan or Syria or Lebanon. It's always Airbus or Boeing, either American or European. What about boat manufacturing companies? Most of them are based, again, Europe and United States. You never see that the rich people from Dubai or Kuwait or Saudi Arabia are navigating luxury boats or luxury jets fabricated in Afghanistan or Pakistan or Saudi Arabia or Yemen or Tunisia. Usually these boats are manufactured in the United States and Europe. Now let's go to heavy machinery. The top companies in the whole world manufacturing heavy machinery are in Europe, North America, and Japan. There's not a single Muslim or Arabic country. So all of the heavy machinery in Egypt doesn't come from Afghanistan or from Pakistan or from Palestine or from Lebanon or from Turkey. Actually, they come from either Europe, United States, or Japan. Now let's go to the greatest scientist in history. There's a list of the 30 most prominent, the greatest scientists in history. They all come, basically, most of them from Europe, a few from America. There's not a single Arabic or Muslim in the list. Let's go to innovation. Most of the nations in innovation, high-tech industry, medical equipment, again, they go from Korea, Europe, and North America. You never go to a hospital in Iraq and you find the top of the arc equipment made in Afghanistan, or you don't go to a Swiss top of the line hospital and you find medical equipment manufactured in Libya or Morocco or Syria or Iraq or Afghanistan. It just doesn't exist. Now let's go to the greatest scientific discoveries in history. All of them have been done by most of them by European and American scientists. Muslims and Arabic people, not even a single one of them in the greatest scientific discoveries. They didn't invent the pen, they didn't invent the cell phone, they didn't invent television or the piano or any of that. Now let's go to sports. When we go to the Olympic Games, the top nations, the 30 top nations that have won, all Western nations. There's not a single Muslim nation that is in the top 30 or Arabic nation. Now let's go to clothing. All of the big clothing brands. You never see like the Princess of Saudi Arabia dressing with very elegant suits manufactured in Afghanistan or Yemen or Iraq. It's usually stuff coming from Italy, Europe, some stuff coming from United States. The same thing with cosmetics. You never go to the royal house of the Moroccan family and you see they have cosmetics from Kuwait or Azerbaijan or Turkmenistan. It's usually French or Swiss cosmetics. Also, you never see that the Saudis or the people in the Emirates are ditching the Rolex watches because they are buying the latest deal made in Iraq or Lebanon or Algeria. So they don't have any of that. So now let's go to where they are number one. Let's go to Muslim and Arabic nations and see where they are number one. They are number one in terrorism. So most terrorist attacks in Europe are perpetrated by Muslims. They are number one in Christian persecution. Most Christian communities have been decimated in places like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, Syria, Libya. I don't want to go on. So they are number one in Christian persecution. They are also number one in human rights violations. They have the lowest rankings of human rights in the world. And also women's rights, they have the lowest ratings in the whole world. So with all of this data, you have to draw your own conclusion. If the West is the problem, America is the problem, Israel is the problem, the occupation is the problem, or there is an ancient issue with the Islamic and the Arabic people. Again, this is just pure science. It's not pinpointing the finger, criticizing any nation or any political party. It's just bringing the data. And I want to add to this, a lot of people say if Israel ends the occupation, there will be peace and all of that. Okay, so what about Syria? Syria is not suffering the Israeli occupation. They are a third world country completely destroyed by dictatorship, terrorism, and civil war. What about Libya? Libya has nothing to do with the Israeli occupation. It's completely destroyed in poverty, civil war, dictatorships, terrorism. The same is for most of the Arab world. The same is for Iraq. The same is happening in Yemen. The same is Pakistan, Afghanistan. So now, a lot of people say, well, if Israel gives back the land, there will be peace. Okay, let's do a little historical recap here. Before there was the state of Israel, there was the British mandate, and there was no such thing as a Palestinian state, and nobody made an objection to it. Before the British mandate, there was the Ottoman Empire ruling the land for about 4 centuries. and there was no such thing as a Palestinian state. The Ottomans would have butchered them if they even dare or dream with a Palestinian state. Nobody made an objection. Before the Ottomans, there were several Arabic empires and caliphates. There were the Mamelukes, and nobody ever dreamed with a Palestinian state. It didn't exist. Nobody had an objection. Before that, it was the Sassanid and the Byzantine empires, and there was no such thing as Palestinian state, and nobody made an objection about it. And before that, it was the Roman Empire. There was no such thing as a Palestinian state, and nobody made an objection with the Romans, or they would have been crushed brutally. And before the Romans, there were the Hashmoneans, this priestly Israelite tribe, and there was no such thing as a Palestinian state, and nobody made an objection. And before them, it was the Greek Empire, Seleucid Greek Empire, Palestinian state. The word actually, Palestine, didn't even exist back then. There was no such thing as a Palestinian state. Nobody made an objection to the mighty Greek Empire. And before that, we have the Persian Empire that had a peaceful relationship with Israel, and they between the Persian Empire and the Israelite monarchy, they ruled Israel in peace. There was no Palestinian state. Nobody made an objection to the mighty Persian Empire. Before that, it was the Babylonian Empire. The word Palestine didn't even exist. Nobody made an objection to the Babylonian Empire. Before that, it was the Syrian Empire, and nobody made an objection to the Syrian Empire. Before that, it was the Kingdom of Israel and Judah. The word Palestine didn't even exist, and nobody objected to the Kingdom of Israel and Judah. And before that, it was the United Monarchy of Israel, one of the most powerful monarchies in the Middle East 3,000 years ago. The word Palestine didn't even exist. Nobody made an objection to it. Before that, it was the time of the judges of Israel, and nobody made an objection to it. Before that, it was the Canaanite kingdoms. The word Palestine didn't even exist, and there was no objection. And before that, it was the tribes of Israel and Abraham establishing in the land, and nobody had an objection as he paid a large amount of money to buy the cave of Machpelah. And before that, there were ancient Hittite and Canaanite tribes, and nobody made an objection. So in the last 4,000 years, there has been everything you can imagine in the land, all sorts of empires and monarchies, but never a Palestinian state, and nobody made an objection to it. So this is, again, just some scientific data. Is not pinpointing the finger at anyone. You are the judge. Just process this data and decide what is wrong and what is right. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more global reports. Thank you.